Hello. This is RC Blakes. I want to welcome you back to another Let's Talk with yours truly. This is your first time, just hang around. I think you will enjoy our conversation tonight. We're going back into part 2 of what we started talking about last week. Discerning the man beneath the surface. Most significant qualities of a man must be discerned by a wise woman. You gotta discern the man beneath the surface, because the weightier, eternal, lifelong aspects of the man are not residing on the surface. In this lesson, which is lesson 2, we're discussing, really in this lesson, we're talking about evaluating the man's capacity for covenant. Now, if you weren't with us last week, I would encourage you to go back and look at that particular video. But, you know, in that lesson, in our previous lesson, we discovered that one of the greatest mistakes women make in relationships is evaluating a man by what is easiest to see, you know, while overlooking what will matter most to live with. What you're attracted to is not what's going to necessarily sustain you. We learned that the most significant qualities of a man are often hidden beneath the surface of the man. You know, character is hidden, emotional maturity is hidden, integrity is not on the surface, humility is hidden. You have to discern these things. Accountability is something you have to pay attention and discern or discover. We also learned that wise women must discern whether he takes them seriously, you know, before they have to fight for being taken seriously, whether he offers presence instead of mere solutions. We talked about all of that, whether he is consistent rather than just exciting, whether he remains engaged during difficulty or not, whether he values understanding more than winning the argument. You know, those 5 qualities we dealt with last week reveal a man's emotional maturity. But today's lesson examines something equally important: his capacity for covenant. You see, when you're running away with your type, you're not necessarily discerning if this is the kind of man. Your type of man is not necessarily the kind of man that can make a covenant, keep it. Because many women have married men who love them but lack the character necessary to sustain the responsibilities of marriage. So let's get ready to dig in, because love is important, but covenant requires more than love. It requires leadership, responsibility, humility, repair, safety, consistency. And so these next 5 qualities of lesson 2, or part 2, lesson is one lesson, but 2 parts. These next 5 qualities reveal whether a man possesses the capacity to sustain a covenant. Because many women ask, does he love me? A wiser question is, can his character sustain the covenant he desires with me? Because love may attract a woman, but character determines whether she can safely remain. Did you hear that? Love may attract a woman, but character determines whether she can safely remain. This is why you must discern. When you think about it, when you think about it, you think of it. How many of you have gotten your type of man over and over and over and over again and could not stay? It's because you were allured by your desire and you never employed your discernment. Meaning you never really got God involved. You never got your common sense involved. You never consulted with your history because you've gone through this over and over and over again. Why would you sign up for this again? You just did not take the time to make the phone call to your history. Your history would have told you, we've been here before. We don't need to do this again. But let's jump in today, taking up where we left off. Number 6. You got to go back and look at part 1 if you want the first 5. Number 6. A wise woman must discern whether he leads or merely occupies space. Do you have a leader or a leech? Does he lead? You must discern, does this brother lead or does he just merely occupy space? And this matters because leadership is one of the most misunderstood concepts in relationships. And to be honest with you, most women subliminally subscribe to this without even realizing it, subconsciously subscribe to this without realizing it. One of the things a woman is most attracted to in a man is his leadership. While some women say, I don't need a leader, you don't want anything else but a leader. Because a leader is not a dominator. A leader is a person with a direction, with a clarity, with an ability to communicate, and with a respect for those who are in his or her care. Leadership is one of the most misunderstood concepts in relationships. Leadership, again, is not dominance. Leadership is not control. Leadership is not intimidation. You know, everything we talk about here is biblical. And biblical leadership is simply responsibility. It is initiative. It's accountability. It's stewardship. It's what God gave to Adam in the garden. Stewardship. And a healthy man does not merely occupy a position. He accepts responsibility for the weight that comes with it. So you got to discern, does this guy just take up space or is he a leader? Because many men desire, authority. Far fewer actually embrace responsibility. And a wise woman must discern the difference. Let you be out here with a cute boy, pretty boy, has no leadership skills, no character, and you just got a whole soul tie of a mess on your hands. Wise women discern the difference. Now, what happens in the life of the woman when this leadership quality is lacking in the man and he's just occupying space? Well, many women become chronically overwhelmed when they are forced into continual overfunctioning. That's what happens with a man that does not have leadership capacity. You as the woman, you must overfunction. And when you have a man like this, you fall into chronic overfunctioning. She becomes the planner. She becomes the motivator. She's the organizer. She's the decision maker, the emotional stabilizer. She's all of that because she did not discern that she had a man that was just occupying space and not leading, not a leader. And eventually the woman feels more like a mother than a wife. Woo! Horrible thing to wake up one day in bed with your son. Please understand what I'm saying. Figuratively. Horrible thing. When you think you married, you got a man, and you look around and you got nothing but another son. Oh my God. You looking at this man and this you got nothing but a son. Horrible thing to wake up in bed with your son. You feeling more like a mother than a wife? All I can do is shake my head. Some of y'all listen to me. A lot of y'all don't. Now, the result is often that you end up burned out. You end up with burnout. You end up with resentment. You end up with emotional fatigue and a gradual loss of attraction. Horrible. Now, it's very important for women of a certain age to understand these things because when you get to a certain age and stage in life, you just don't really have time to be wasting time. You know what I mean? So you need to understand this. Like right now, people often ask me, well, give me content, give us some content for women over 45 or women over 50. And the reality is the same stuff that most of the stuff that applies to little girls applies to more mature women. It's the same stuff. It's just that you should be approaching it from a more sophisticated, enlightened position, but the same principles still apply. And if a woman is clueless, even an old man will run game. Same games they run on young boys, old men are running them on old women that are still clueless. So I don't find a grounds or a basis to teach necessarily stuff that's totally different. Of course, there's some nuance, when it comes down to money and health and all of that, but pretty much the stuff is the same. You're going to end up with resentment, emotional fatigue, and you're going to eventually lose attraction to this guy. It's not going to last. Now, research consistently demonstrates that chronic imbalance in relational responsibility contributes significantly to relationship dissatisfaction and emotional exhaustion among women. I forget where I read it, but I read that in many scenarios, women are carrying 90, I think 90% of the domestic cerebral, the cognitive load of the family in terms of how to run the house and all of that. While the man is responsible for, in certain scenarios, earning and protecting and all of that kind of thing. But what happens when a woman, has all of that responsibility, all of that weight that women many times are, uniquely graced to manage, and she has a partner who has no leadership concerns at all, and just he's just present, sitting there watching her do what she does. He's just taking up space, and he's not stepping into leadership in any way. And now what happens with that? You can only imagine where that goes. Now, the Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, in verse 13, watch ye, stand fast in the faith. Quit you like men, be strong. Genesis chapter 18 and verse 19 says, for I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord. I know him. Why? Because I've discerned him. I know he's a leader. I know he's not a quitter. I know he's a finisher because I discerned him. Have you discerned the men you've been dating or the man you're dating? You out here sending all these messages to people about you think you got the one. Have you discerned this guy beyond your desire, beyond, what you see with your eyes and what you feel, down in your stomach there, whatever that is? Have you discerned this guy? Does he take initiative? Oh, I know he cute. He cute. He cute. I know he cute. Yeah, he cute. He fine. But does he take initiative? Does he avoid responsibility? Can he make difficult decisions? Does he carry weight well? Not weight as in body weight, but weight as in pressure. Does he solve problems or does he create a whole lot of problems? These are questions you got to ask. Because you got to discern, is this guy a leader or is this guy just taking up space? Number 7, you got to discern whether he knows how to repair relationships. We all got to know how to repair relationships. A relationship is like an old car. It's best you know how to fix it because it will break down. And if you're going to ride in it, you got to know how to fix it. If you're going to be in a relationship, you got to know how to fix it. You don't need a man that does not know how to repair a relationship. A man that just, crawls into a shell, gives up, quits every time you have a disagreement. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. These dudes tripped me out today, man. It couldn't have happened back in the day. I promise you. These dudes, it just couldn't happen. You got to discern whether he knows how to repair relationships. And this matters because every relationship experiences conflict, difficulty, challenges. The issue is not whether conflict occurs. The issue is whether repair follows. And do you have a man that is mature enough, healthy enough, invested enough to repair it? Or will his ego prevent him from repair, especially if he's wrong? Can he say, I'm sorry? Can he confront you lovingly and respectfully about something that maybe you did that he didn't like without blowing the whole relationship up? Healthy men understand that mistakes are inevitable. Repair is optional. Immature men defend themselves. Mature men restore connection by any means necessary. And the ability to repair is one of the clearest indicators of emotional and spiritual maturity in a man. You must discern this. This is not going to be evident on the surface. Because when a man lacks this ability, this maturity to repair, when this is missing in a man, unrepaired conflict creates accumulated emotional injury. And you can't be the woman that's always repairing. I mean, something wrong with that. Unless you're just a horrible woman, it is a very rare occasion where one person is just that horrible that they're always the problem. You always the problem? No, you're broken. You're struggling with broken consciousness, and you're trying to hold on to this demonic situation by any means necessary. Unrepaired conflict creates accumulated emotional injury. Every unresolved issue remains psychologically active. Ooh. So the heaviness you all are feeling today has nothing to do with anything that happened today. It has everything to do with the stuff y'all didn't resolve 6 months ago, and the stuff you didn't resolve a year before that, and the stuff you didn't resolve 3 years before that. All of that is energy in your soul right? Every disappointment remains stored. Every wound remains open. And eventually, you're no longer reacting to today's disagreements, today's issues. You are reacting to years of unresolved pain because you have a leader that does not know how to repair because you didn't take the time to discern, am I submitting myself, my life, my future to a man that does not have the capacity to repair when we have issues? The relationship becomes emotionally heavy because nothing is ever truly healed. Nothing. Everything's swept under the rug. And we do what we do. We go to the boudoir, get in the middle of the boudoir, and all is well. That ain't true. You can do all that, get in the bed you want. That stuff that has not been resolved is not resolved. It's going to come up at some point, probably at the most inopportune time. Relationship researchers consistently identify that successful repair attempts as one of the strongest predictors of long-term marital stability. Successful repair attempts is one of the strongest predictors of long-term marital stability. I think that's where Lisa and I are good. We don't make mountains out of molehills. Everything doesn't require conversation, right? We don't harbor that coldness towards one another long. Usually we rectify things within minutes and we get back to our normal rhythm. If we need to talk about it later, we find the right time and tone to talk about it. I think that's why we do good. I think that's why we do so good. Because our attempts at repair are pretty successful. And we're working on 31 years of marriage. Matthew chapter 5, verses 23 and 24, it reads like this. It says, "First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift." Reconciliation is huge in the kingdom of God. Ephesians chapter 4 and 26 says, "Let not the sun go down on your wrath." Why would you just allow this stuff to just hang around and dangle around your relationship? You got to discern, does this guy have a propensity or proclivity to repair, or is he harboring? Whew, that's another issue right there. You get you a little small feminine man that just hold on to grudges and just harbor stuff. My God. You gotta pray to discern. Can he admit fault? Does he apologize sincerely? Or is it one of those old plastic apologies just to move beyond the moment where nothing is really reconciled? Does he pursue reconciliation? Can he repair what he damages? Does pride prevent accountability in this guy? All right, let's see. Number 8. You must discern whether he is curious enough to know you. You got to discern whether this guy is curious enough to know you. Does he pay enough attention to you? Is he focused on you enough to really learn you? Because love learns. This matters because, many men desire a woman, but far fewer desire to truly know that woman. Real intimacy requires curiosity. Healthy men remain students of the woman they love. They ask questions. They observe. They learn. They apply. They adapt. That's curiosity. When a man really loves a woman, he remains curious about her. He likes to look at her. He likes to listen to her. He pays attention to her. Yeah. Because understanding is one of the highest expressions of love. Understanding is one of the highest expressions of love. And why is it one of the highest expressions of love? Because of the price one has to pay to attain understanding. You got to step outside of yourself, your own interests. You got to give of your time. You got to give of your focus to understand someone. You got to get out of your selfishness, your self-centeredness. You have to become selfless to understand another. And when a woman has a man that lacks this quality, a woman who feels unseen often experiences a gradual loss of identity. Instead of being known, she becomes accommodated. He's no longer curious. He's just accommodating me. Instead of being understood, she becomes managed. And eventually she begins suppressing parts of herself because she no longer believes they matter. I've seen great women lose their clowns to crown, lose their crowns to clown. Should you lose your clown to your crown? But I've seen the reverse. I've seen great women lose their crowns to clowns and lost themselves. Ran a man, chased a man to a point she lost herself. Man wanted nothing from her but access to her body and control of her mind. And it didn't matter how much I talked to her. It didn't matter how much I told her. It didn't matter how many times I tried to tell her. She kept going back and she kept diving in that till she lost herself. And that's what happens when you find yourself attached to a man that is no longer curious about you. Women have to be connected to men who are curious about them. The way your man looks at you, thinks of you, the energy he gives off when you move in the room has a lot to do with not your self-esteem, because your self-esteem is a you issue. But it has a lot to do with how you view your security in the context of that relationship, your security in the context of that relationship. Because the relationship slowly becomes a place where you survive rather than flourish when a man is no longer curious about you. And again, research consistently demonstrates that emotional attunement significantly impacts relationship satisfaction, trust, and emotional security. When a person just knows that you see them, when a person just knows that you see them, and you need a man that is going to demonstrate that he's still learning you, he's still curious about you. He's not so accustomed to you that he's familiar. He's still excited about you. You gotta, yeah. 1 Peter chapter 3:7 says, likewise, ye husbands dwell with them according to knowledge. Woo! Dwell with them. How do you get knowledge? You gotta learn. You gotta be in a constant, perpetual state of learning. Woo! You gotta be learning your woman. You gotta know your woman at every season, at every twist and turn. When a man really loves you, he's constantly learning you and he's applying what he's learned. He evolves with you and you evolve with him. It's not a one-way street. You learn him and you evolve with him as well. But, you know, the development of the woman is a lot more nuanced than that of the man. And so the woman requires a man that is constantly curious, constantly learning, constantly affirming. You don't need him for your self-esteem, but you need the affirmation that he should bring. Psalm 139:1 says, "O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me." He got to love you like God loves you. He got to search you and know you. My God. So you gotta discern. Does he ask meaningful questions? When's the last time this guy asked you a question other than what we eating? My God. What we eating? This is what you bring into the company. Christmas party. What we eating? No conversation. You're just gonna hang around the food all night, eating the food, eating the people's food up all night. With white socks on with a black suit. That's what you bring, because you didn't discern that. Does he remember important details? Love learns you. Love learns you. Is he interested in your inner world? Oh, you know, every man wants access to your body, but is he interested in your inner world? Does he seek understanding? Is he curious about who you are becoming? Not even just who you are, but is he curious about who you're becoming? How do you know that? He asks you questions about what you're doing, what you need, where is this going to take you? What do you find exciting about it? What do you dream of the most? If a man is not having those conversations with you, he's either too shallow or he just doesn't love you like that. But you wouldn't know that because queens ask questions that only kings can answer. And I know your queen conscious level when it comes down to relationships by the questions you ask. Most of y'all ain't asking none. You scared you're going to run somebody off. You can run a man off. He wasn't there in the beginning. Number 9, you got to discern whether he creates safety or fear. A woman's heart flourishes where she feels emotionally safe. Fear closes people down. Safety opens them up. And you see, safety is not weakness. Safety is the environment that allows trust, intimacy, honesty, and vulnerability to grow. A healthy man understands that strength and gentleness are not enemies. Wow. They're partners. Strength and gentleness are not enemies. They're partners. That's why we have gentlemen, gentleman. Man is indicative of power, aggression, assertiveness, or whatever else you want to call it. But the meek consciousness of the man, the God consciousness of the man, rather, makes him meek and takes this same powerful, dominant being and causes him to be gentle. The same lion that kills with that mouth is able to hold cubs and carry them across the yard. Gentle man. See? They're not conflicting, they're partners. But what happens to a woman when this quality is missing? Without emotional safety, where a woman does not feel emotionally safe, vulnerability becomes dangerous. And vulnerability for a woman is the thing that allows her femininity to flow. And when her femininity flows, she is emotionally, psychologically, and physically healthier for it. When she's with a man that she cannot be vulnerable with, all of those areas are closed up. And it makes the woman sick physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. She begins filtering her thoughts, her emotions, her concerns, her needs. She becomes cautious about revealing herself because experience has taught her at this point that openness may be punished rather than protected because I have a man that is emotionally abrupt, abrasive. A guarded heart may survive, but it can never fully thrive. And I see a lot of women who are living with men, but they are women with guarded hearts. Research again from attachment theory consistently demonstrates that emotional safety is one of the strongest predictors of secure and healthy relational bonds. When a woman can be herself without fear of retaliation, abandonment, rejection, ridicule, violence, whatever, that's where a woman thrives. The Bible says this in Romans chapter 14 and verse 13. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore. Look what Galatians 6 and 2 says. Bear ye one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. You got to have a man that can hear you without judgment. You got to have a man that can help you bear your burdens without ridicule. So you got to pray to discern. Can I disagree safely? Or when I disagree, am I ridiculed? Am I made to feel stupid and foolish? Can I be vulnerable safely? Do I feel respected in this relationship? Do I feel emotionally secure in this relationship? Does this guy create peace or tension? You got to discern this. And you discern this by just watching this. You discern this while you're dating. You just watch. Especially great time to learn something about a man, or even vice versa, anyone, is when you have a moment of contention. Rather than getting all emotional and scared, I'm gonna lose. There ain't no time to be worrying about losing somebody. You don't even know if you want to keep this person or not. This is the time for you to get a glimpse into the real persona behind this person, because when you all have a disagreement, a lot of this stuff will come out. And then number 10, and finally, you must discern whether he reassures or remains emotionally absent. Does he reassure or does he remain emotionally absent? Because let me tell you, a toxic man will play yo-yo with your emotions just to develop a psychological control over you. Because one of the most attractive qualities in a husband is emotional steadiness. It doesn't matter. We can have a blow up. He's going to be emotionally steady. You're not going to ever have to question, does he love me? Is he going to be here? Healthy men communicate security. They communicate commitment. They communicate consistency. Many women are not asking for perfection. You're asking for reassurance. You're asking for confidence that the relationship is emotionally secure. I don't have to worry about you walking out. So what happens to a woman when a man lacks this quality? A lack of reassurance often produces chronic relational insecurity. The woman becomes highly insecure. She's checking everything. She's suspicious of everybody. The woman finds herself constantly searching for evidence that she matters, that she is loved, that she is valued, that the relationship is secure. And instead of enjoying the relationship, she spends her energy trying to interpret it. Oh my God, you can't relax because you're constantly trying to interpret the relationship. It's not been communicated clearly enough. You've not been reassured. And trust becomes difficult because confusion has replaced confidence. Now, eventually, the relationship becomes emotionally draining because she is continually trying to obtain what should be freely communicated. You're trying to pull it out of him. Babe, any man you got to pull reassurance out of, he doesn't have it to give you. He ain't your guy. Relationship researchers consistently identify emotional responsiveness and reassurance as critical contributions to relational security and attachment stability. Any man you got to pull, you love me? You love me? You love me? You like that woman on the song, you gonna love me. Mm-mm. He ain't gonna love you. He don't love you. He ain't gonna love you. Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. Isaiah 41:10 says, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. You see how God is reassuring us? I got you. That's the way a man that loves Jesus Christ loved the church will reassure you. Song of Solomon 2:16 says, my beloved is mine and I am his. She knew it. She was reassured. She says, I'm his, he's mine. Lisa Blakes does not worry about me. I deal with women all around the world 99% of the time. Lisa Blakes never has to worry about me because she is fully, completely, and totally reassured. She knows where my heart is, and everybody else knows where my heart is. Praise the Lord. All right, I'm talking too long. Lisa told me I talked too long. So you got to pray to discern. Does he communicate clearly? Does he leave you guessing? Does he create confidence or confusion in you? Does his presence bring peace? Does he reassure consistently? You got to ask yourself all of that. And I'm done. Now let me see. My prayer for you tonight is that something will shift in the way you think and in the way you move, in the way you function. That you will understand who you are and that you will begin to no longer develop relationships based on desires, but discernment. And when you look at these final 5 qualities, they reveal something deeper than emotional maturity. They reveal covenant capacity. A man may sincerely love a woman, still lack the character necessary to steward her heart. Because again, love alone is not enough. Love alone is not enough. You're going to need more than your type. You're going to need your kind. But the only way to discern your kind is to discern your kind. See, the goal is not merely finding a man. The goal is discerning the man beneath the surface. Because what lies beneath the surface will determine the quality of your future. A wise woman does not merely pray for a husband. She prays for discernment. And then she waits long enough to see what is hidden beneath the surface of those that might show up. You wait, then once somebody shows up, you discern. So I pray that you've gotten something marvelous out of this time tonight. Listen, if you need counseling, BetterHelp Counseling is available. All you got to do is hit the link in my description. I'm certain that the moderators are probably putting the link in the chat for you. And you can talk to someone right there in the convenience of your own home. Licensed professional therapist. Private, secure, accessible anytime, anywhere. You can change therapists till you find the one you like or one that suits you. Hit that link today and get some help for the things that trouble you. Now, we have something special going on at the bookstore, or at the RCBLAKESstore.com. We have the Queen Conscious Bundle. That's the Father, Daughter Talk, Queenology, and Training for Reigning. $33.99. You can only get that at the store. You can't get that on Amazon. You can get any of my books at Amazon. But if you want the bundle, you got to go to RC Blake's store. Also, while you're there, don't forget to check out all of the On Top Going Higher gear, Lisa's OK shirt. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff there. And, we're in the summertime. It's time to pump it up a bit. Exercising and all of that. Go to the store and pick up your On Top Going Higher gear. Well, thanks to the moderators. Thanks to all of you who have sown into our lives tonight. Lisa and I love you so much. Now, next, I was getting ready to say next Monday, but we're not. We're going to say we're going to part 3, but there's no part 3. We just finished the lesson. This was part 2. So, hey, I guess that's what happens when you're turning 62 years old. Praise the Lord. Listen, I love you with all of my heart. And you really are on top, and you're going higher. God has more in store for you. So we're going to see you at the top. I love you with all my heart. Have an amazing, amazing night.
My queen, my queen. Oh, she. Oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel, so strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama. Yeah. And Jesus too. Oh, sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. Better treat her like a queen. Oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying. Back to work, cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion.